What's that? All right, folks, welcome back. We're going to get started with the last part of our program. We'd like to start the final program for today. Governor Cuomo established the New York Rising to the Top competition to foster innovation, encourage collaboration, and promote the development of the best reconstruction plans possible. In this race to the top, the communities that have demonstrated the most exemplary achievement in each of the 8 categories will be awarded up to $3 million in bonus funding for each category. Remember, these are dollars on top of the $3 to $25 million allocations for which they are already eligible and which will go directly to implementing the hundreds of proposed projects addressing community needs across our state. The 8 categories of the Rising to the Top competition are as follows: best approach to resilient economic growth, inclusion of vulnerable populations, regional collaboration, use of technology in the planning process, community involvement in the planning process, use of green infrastructure to bolster resilience, innovative and cost-effective financing, and infrastructure investments with co-benefits. Our first category this afternoon is the best approach to resilient economic growth goes to our Staten Island Committee that proposed projects to retrofit existing business districts to make them more resilient, incorporated policies and strategies that assist in relocating at-risk businesses, and or proposed projects to provide guidance to small businesses on post-storm resiliency planning. Staten Island has proposed projects to incorporate strategies which identify and assist at-risk businesses, including the development of a survey of businesses impacted by Superstorm Sandy, a Race for Space grant program, the East Shore Local Development Corporation, or LDC, as well as the New Creek Blue Belt Project. Congratulations, Staten Island. The East and South Shores of Staten Island are a diverse yet unified community with significant natural, cultural, and economic assets, and a long tradition of engaged citizens with a strong and unique sense of identity. Building on these strengths, the East and South Shores will come back stronger and build back better than before Superstorm Sandy. So please have our Staten Island team come forward to accept your award. To introduce our next award, I'd like to call back to the podium our Director of the Office of Storm Recovery, Jamie Rubin. Jamie?
So our next award is for the inclusion of vulnerable populations. We look for the demonstration of effective outreach to vulnerable populations and evidence of their inclusion in the planning process. We also look for the incorporation of policies, projects, or actions that further the interests of vulnerable populations. So this award and $3 million of additional implementation funding goes to the Brighton Beach, Coney Island, Manhattan Beach, and Seagate Committee. This committee demonstrated a total commitment to including vulnerable populations in all their planning process. Projects the committee developed incorporated policies, projects, and actions to further empower the vulnerable populations in that area, including the development of workforce training programs, as well as resilient power systems at NYCHA, Mitchell-Lama, and other senior properties. The community's vision, declared from the beginning, is to empower and rebuild the diverse communities of the southern Brooklyn Peninsula to be prepared, vibrant, unified, and resilient in facing the common economic, social, physical, and environmental challenges in our coastal neighborhoods. Thank you, Brighton Beach, Coney Island, Manhattan Beach, and Seagate. Please come on up and accept your award.
To introduce our next award, I'd like to call up our Secretary of State, Cesar Perales. Cesar.
This is the Regional Collaboration Award category. And as you can see, this category looked, among other things, for exemplary committees that addressed regional issues and regional economic development issues, incorporated multiple levels of government and private, academic, and nonprofit sectors, and/or included input and recommendations from the area's Regional Economic Development Council. So it's my honor to announce that the Regional Collaboration Award goes to the Southern Tier communities of Broome and Tioga counties and the village of Sydney. These communities immediately expanded their planning boundaries to be more inclusive. They hosted a regional resiliency summit to solicit feedback from various sectors and stakeholders, and launched a regional river initiative to address resiliency issues and opportunities on a watershed basis. The initiative includes watershed modeling, stream management, and education. Congratulations to the Southern Tier communities. The diverse urban, suburban, and rural communities of Broome County and Tioga counties are capitalizing on these opportunities to rebuild stronger, smarter, and safer. These communities recognize the economic, environmental, and social value and challenges associated with the region's rivers and tributaries. Congratulations, Broome and Tioga counties and the village of Sydney. Please come up and accept your award.
To introduce our next award, I'd like to welcome the Chairman of Energy and Finance for New York State, Richard Kaufman.
I'm delighted to announce the next award, and this category is the use of technology in the planning process. Among other criteria, submissions were judged on the use of technology in the planning process. Use of such technology as GIS mapping and analysis, simulation, design imaging, and modeling. Also, criteria of use of technology to distribute information and facilitate informed discussion, and also use of technology to engage the public. And the winner is Waterford. The Village of Waterford envisions a community reconstruction program that will provide a strategy for addressing past flood damage and for developing the long-term solutions aimed at making the village better able to manage and cope with future storm and flooding events. In developing the program, they recognize the unique character of the community, including its historic building stock and the economic and recreational assets of its waterfront resources along the State Canal System, the Hudson River, and the Mohawk River. Waterford Village Committee members created a geographic information system application which they used to identify an unknown high-risk area of their community. And this may be the best part. In the true collaborative spirit of this process, they have offered to make this software available to other New York Rising communities. Thank you, Waterford. Please come up and accept your award.
To introduce our next award, please welcome up to the stage, Commissioner of the Department of Housing and Community Renewal, Darrell Towns. Darrell.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor, and good afternoon, everyone. Next category is the community involvement and planning process. Submissions for this category were judged, among other things, on the provision of opportunities for meaningful community involvement throughout the process, the quality of outreach to and participation of neighboring communities, and the use of multiple methods of communication and outreach. I'm pleased to announce that the winner of this category and the recipient of an additional $3 million to fund proposed projects in their plan is the Village of Margaretville. The Margaretville Committee held weekly open surveys, canvassed door-to-door, and held interactive public engagement events. The committee participated in festivals and other informational events, and the Margaretville Central School created a 20-minute video documenting recovery efforts. This outstanding committee aims to create a resilient and vibrant environment in the village of Margaretville that embraces the community's history, charm, and character, while providing for the future economic stability and reducing the vulnerability of the effects of natural hazards, flooding, and climate change. Thank you, Margaretville, and please step up and receive your award.
To introduce our next award, please welcome up to the stage the Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Conservation, Joe Martens.
Joe. Good afternoon. We're now moving on to the best use of green infrastructure to bolster resilience. Submissions were judged in part on how well the committee incorporated redevelopment of hardened structures using soft engineering approaches, how well they developed strategies that manage stormwater using open space, and how well they promoted projects that utilize natural systems for erosion control. I am honored to announce the winner of this category, and am personally excited to help make this and other proposed projects a reality. The winner of this category is South Valley Stream. This project would restore the natural shoreline along Valley Stream, an area that has seen repeated flooding. The project would improve coastal protection from water levels of up to approximately 7 feet and employ green infrastructure for flood storm water retention. Potential elements include terracing the flood-prone area with a natural sloped shoreline, providing habitat restoration in the littoral zone, and using open space to attenuate floodwaters. The project is exploring the use of novel erosion control and sediment structures, permeable pavement, a living shoreline, bioswales, and educational signage. Please give them another round of applause.
For our next award, please welcome to the stage the President and CEO of the Environmental Facilities Corporation, Matt Driscoll.
Good afternoon. Our next category, innovative and cost-effective financing, goes to a committee that is using public funds to leverage private investment, incorporating innovative funding and financing mechanisms, and incorporating multiple sources of funding. Please put your hands together for Oakdale, West Sayville. This committee proposed a public-private partnership which could leverage public funds to secure private investment. Their economic development partnerships include a bike share, water taxi, and trolley. Additional proposed partnerships involve the extension of infrastructure and home utility improvements. Oakdale and West Sayville will be communities with a greener and more sustainable future, with hazard-resistant buildings and infrastructure and well-functioning natural systems that can prevent or minimize damage to life and property and the disruption of critical services. The rich history of the communities, the spectacular public and private spaces, emphasizing the importance of health, of waterways and coastal proximity, will help guide future development with downtown identities and will focus on the essential character and charm of Oakdale and West Sayville. Congratulations once again to Oakdale and West Sayville. Please come up and accept your awards.
To introduce our final award, please welcome to the stage the Commissioner of the New York State Public Service Commission, Audrey Zibelman. Audrey.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Our second to last category, infrastructure investments with co-benefits, look for projects where applicants propose to use existing infrastructure investments with minor improvements to increase resilience, or promoted projects that increase stormwater capacity and or corrected a pre-storm issue that was exacerbated during the storm to increase resilience. Please join me in congratulating Jay Keene as the winning committee. Jay King represented the North Country and is proposing restoration and flood mitigation at Johns Brooks, which provide refuge for brook trout to spawn and to allow for economic development opportunities. Their proposed habitat will also protect millions of dollars in assets from flooding and will restore habitat. Other proposed stormwater and erosion control projects will provide long-term environmental benefits while reducing annual road repair costs. The towns of Jay and Keene have been diligent in their use of the NYRCR planning process as an opportunity to evaluate how the community can become more resilient to flooding from major storm events. They capitalized on the opportunity to develop a deeper understanding of the flood vulnerability of the 6 hamlets and identify critical projects and initiatives that could help mitigate future flooding. The Planning Committee members developed a common community vision based on the perspective that Jay and Keene are much a part of a larger economy and ecosystem, like we all are. Congratulations to Jay and Keene Committee, and you've already accepted your award. So thank you.
How about one final round of applause for all of our award winners? Just want to congratulate all our award winners and thank them for all their hard work, their great public service. Just listening to all the plans and the awards, it really makes our state proud. And to close off our program, please welcome back for one final announcement our host today, Governor Cuomo. Governor.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a long day, but a good day. Just a couple of more thoughts, if I can. First, to these award winners, let's give them one more round of applause. To the team that's represented by Jamie Rubin, but there's been such a team effort on this from the state, from local governments, from the private sector. We've had consultants, the Department of State people have done a fantastic job. Let's give them a round of applause. And let's give yourselves a round of applause, a hearty round of applause. Because as I said at the beginning, this was a very risky endeavor that we were embarking on. Disaster assistance work, disaster rebuilding work is always problematic. It's always difficult. And to start a new approach and a new program right on the cusp of a disaster was really an ambitious undertaking. And the concept was right. The concept is inarguable. Community by community, empowerment, bottom up, but it is incredibly difficult to do. And the question was, could you pull it off? Not could we figure out how to do it. It was, could you make it work? And you made it work, and you made it work extraordinarily well. And I can't tell you how proud we are to watch the progress. And I believe it was also therapeutic for the community at the same time. Because in the aftermath of one of these disasters, people are wondering what's going to happen. Which way is this going to go? Is it going to come back? Is it going to be okay? Is it not going to be okay? And when you started to organize and you started to bring people together, it was a larger sign that this is going to be okay. And people are working, and people are organizing, and people are helping, and it is going to be okay. So you didn't just help within your circle. Your impact, your benefit was much broader than that. And give yourselves another round of applause for that, please. I also want to take a moment to thank the Mayor de Blasio from New York City for his attendance, but even more for his proposal, which is a very smart proposal. He's proposing a piece of legislation that I'm going to support, and I'm going to work very hard to pass right away. But it's something everyone in this room should consider. What it's saying is that people should not be taxed on a benefit to their home if that improvement was only as the result of a storm recovery. In other words, a person has storm damage, person fixes their home after a long, tortured process, and then government comes in and says, well, now I'm going to raise your taxes because you improved your home. The mayor's proposal abates the taxes on the improvements made after a storm recovery. I support that for the city of New York. I support that for every community in this room. So if you're in a position So we'd like to get that legislation passed so we can make it possible for New York City and every other community that's effective. Last point. The job is not done. This was a great plan. Your plans have all been accepted. We have plans that say 700 projects statewide will be constructed. The next step is you have to construct the projects. The visioning, the organizing, the concept, great, sold, approved, awarded, rewarded. Now you have to do it. And doing it can be just as hard, if not harder, than the conceptualizing and the planning on how to do it. So the next step is actually make it happen, and make it happen quickly, and make it happen right, and not on government time, quote unquote, but on real time. Surprise people by how fast you can move. Defy expectations. You want to talk about turning around morale and a sense of community. There's nothing like seeing progress. There's nothing like seeing a building going up. There's nothing like someone coming to you saying, boy, did you see what they're doing down the block almost overnight? All of a sudden, it's going so fast, you know. That does wonders for a community. So that next step is for you to make it happen. Also, you've done such a great job so far. We want to make sure that what you've accomplished doesn't dissipate with time. In other words, you've organized people, people have come together, people feel good about what they have done. We don't want to lose that unity. We don't want to lose that forging of community. Mr. Smalls said, I don't want to say goodbye. My homeboys from Queens said they want more money. We're going to put the two things together. We don't want this to end. We don't want what you did, what you've accomplished, to now dissipate because the immediate goal is gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to have another round of a competition. It's going to be based on the performance of how well you've implemented the projects that have been accepted today. And it will all be also based on innovations for new projects. Now that you've heard all these ideas, now that you've seen what we're looking for in terms of the awards, go back, come up with an innovative project that you have not yet proposed, but which you would like to propose. Go back and build the projects that are approved, make them a reality, And in January, we're going to have another round, $50 million on a competitive basis for awards for this next round, because we want to keep this going. And I do believe, at the end of the day, what we said in the beginning of the day is going to turn out true. Your community is going to be better than before, and it will be better for having gone through what was a horrendous experience because of your leadership and because of your time and your energy. Thank you, and God bless you.
That's a great way to end a great day. Folks, that's the end of our program. Please travel safe, and thank you all for coming.